Appreciate. Welcome to my video tip of the week. This week we're going to discuss 10 steps to success for passing the CPLP knowledge-based exam. So let's go ahead and get started. Now, a lot of the CPLP candidates will tell you that studying for the knowledge-based exam is really tough. I mean, after all, it covers 9 areas of expertise. What that translates into is 50 pages of exam objectives across a wide range of subject matters. You can see them all here, from designing learning down to career planning and talent management. You have to know and have some level of application in all 9 areas of expertise in order to pass the CPLP knowledge-based exam. So a lot of CPLP candidates wonder, what's it really like to sit the CPLP knowledge-based exam? And they have a lot of questions like, what kinds of questions can I expect on the exam? Are they going to quiz me on people's names and theories? What's the exam center like? And can I review my answers before I submit my exam? So I'm here to tell you that you can pass the exam, which is really kind of funny because then you can start freaking out about passing phase 2, the CPLP work product submission. But that's something that we'll talk about in another video tip of the week. So here we go. Here are the 10 steps that you can follow to success on the CPLP knowledge-based exam. So number 1. You need to assess your situation. Are you really ready for certification? Number 2, understanding what the CPLP knowledge-based exam is and is not. Number 3, putting together your own personal study plan. Number 4, using a variety of study materials. Number 5, making a commitment to you, which means making the time to study and prepare. Number 6, using the CPLP Candidate Bulletin as a guide. Number 7, discussing the material with other CPLP candidates and your peers. Number 8, visiting the test center. Number 9, in order to be successful, you need to get a good night's sleep the night before your exam. And number 10, you need to do whatever it is to de-stress and minimize your anxiety on the day of your exam. So let's go ahead and take a look at each one of these in a bit more detail. So assessing your situation, are you really ready for certification? Now, this is a very, very personal question. It's a very personal question, and one of the things that the ASTD Certification Institute provides to all CPLP candidates, as well as people who are curious about the CPLP, is the CPLP Candidate Bulletin. And you can find the CPLP Candidate Bulletin on the ASTD Certification Institute website at www.cplp.astd.org. And what you'll find in this PDF file is all the information that you need about the program, including information about a readiness assessment. So I can go ahead and click on Appendix A here within the PDF file, and you'll see that there's information in this section of the document that walks you through assessing whether or not the CPLP is something that's for you, and whether or not that this is a certification that you're ready to do now, or something that you should take a look at the future, or if you should go ahead and entertain other options. So you'll find a lot more information about doing a self-assessment here in that PDF file. Again, this is the CPLP Candidate Bulletin, and you can find it on the ASTD Certification Institute website at www.cplp.astd.org. After assessing whether or not the CPLP certification is right for you, you need to understand what the CPLP knowledge-based exam is and what it is not. So let's first talk about what it is. Now, the CPLP knowledge-based exam is the first phase of a 2-phase certification process. So phase 1 of the certification process is the knowledge-based exam. The second phase is a work product submission. The first phase, the knowledge-based exam, involves 150 multiple-choice questions. They're delivered by computer, and they're administered by the ASTD Certification Institute. Now, ASTD stands for the American Society for Training and Development, and the ASTD Certification Institute, also known as ASTD CI, is a separate entity from ASTD, the professional association. And they're the ones who oversee the credentialing process, including the exam. The other thing to know about the knowledge-based exam is that it covers those 9 areas of expertise, same as what we had up on the screen just a little bit before. Another thing to know is that those areas of expertise are all weighted differently from each other, which means all areas of expertise, as far as the knowledge-based exam are concerned, are not weighted equally. So if I go back into the CPLP candidate bulletin here, what you can see is down towards the bottom of this page, here are the 9 areas of expertise that are covered on the knowledge-based exam, and here's how they're weighted on the exam. So for instance, you can see that career planning and talent management is weighted at 6%, whereas something like delivering training is weighted at 15%. So this really does affect how it is that you prepare for the exam, because you want to make sure that you really focus your study areas not only on the areas where you're the weakest, but also on those areas that count the most towards the exam. And so that's part of how you come up with putting together your own personal study plan. Now, one of the things that we took a look at just a moment ago was the candidate bulletin. And in the candidate bulletin, what you'll also find is actually about 50 pages worth of exam objectives. The exam objectives can be found here in the CPLP candidate bulletin underneath Appendix C, the knowledge exam content outline. And what you'll see is that this area of the candidate bulletin is actually divided into different sections by the different areas of expertise. So if I just kind of go through some of the pages here, you'll see, for instance, that beneath designing learning, there are things like understanding Maslow's hierarchy of needs, understanding Malcolm Knowles' adult learning theory, so on and so forth. There's information on instructional design. And if I go a little further in here, you'll see it just keeps going. All 9 areas of expertise. So now we're looking at topics that have to do with improving human performance. So this is the document that you can use, again, Appendix C, the knowledge exam outline, content outline, which is going to help you assess which areas you need to focus your study time on. So one of the tips that we have a tendency of giving people is to say, okay, go ahead and print out at least this part of the document and start to check off the objectives that you feel the most comfortable with. When you're done, anything that doesn't have a check mark, those are probably the areas where you really need to start. That's where you really need to focus your study efforts. And on top of that, again, you want to make sure that you're really paying attention to those areas of expertise that are weighted the most heavily on the exam. So that's it for this week's video tip of the week. I'm Trish Ewell, your CPLP coach. If you would like more information, especially more of these video tips, or want to know more about the CPLP itself, then please come visit us at www.cplpcoach.com. Thanks again. We'll see you next week.